Hello, my friends. Story time with Mrs. Beth again. A big shout out to my friend Kim and Gail and Lisa and all my other friends who are listening. I got a pretty neat story. All my stories are pretty neat and great. Mirette on the High Wire. Let's read it. 100 years ago in Paris, when theaters and music halls drew traveling players from all over the world, the best place to stay was at Madame Gaston's, a boarding house on English Street. Acrobats, jugglers, actors, and mimes from as far away as Moscow and New York reclined at her place. They would sit on the mattresses, the chairs, and eat all the lovely stew meals. Madame Gateau worked hard to make her guests comfortable, and so did her daughter Mirette. The girl was an expert at washing clothes and linens, chopping up vegetables, potatoes, carrots, etc., and mopping floors. She was a good listener, too. Nothing pleased her more than to overhear the players tell of their adventures in this town and that town along the road. One evening, a tall, sad-faced man arrived. He told Madame Gateau he was Bellany, a retired high-wire walker. "I am here for a rest," he said. "I have just the room for you, Monsieur Bellany, in the back of this building, where it's quiet," she said. "But it's on the ground floor with no view." "Perfect, perfect," said the man. "I will take my meals alone in my room." The next afternoon, when Mirette came to pick the sheets off the line, there was the man, crossing the courtyard on air. Mirette was enchanted. Of all the things a person could do, this must be the most magical. Her feet tingled as if they wanted to jump up on the wire beside Bellany. Mirette worked up the courage to speak to him. "Excuse me, Monsieur Bellany, I want to learn to do that too." Bellany sighed. "That would not be a good idea," he said. "Once you start, your feet are never happy again on the ground." "Oh, please teach me," Mirette begged. "My feet are already unhappy on the ground." But he shook his head no. Mirette watched him every day. He would practice. He would slide his feet onto the wire, cast his eyes ahead, and cross without ever looking down. It was magnificent. Finally, she couldn't resist any longer. When Bellany was gone one day, she jumped up on the wire to try it herself. Her arms flailed like windmills, and in a moment she was back on the ground. Bellany made it look so easy. Surely she could do it too if she kept trying. In 10 tries, she balanced on one foot for a few seconds. In a day, she managed 3 steps without wavering. Finally, after a week of many falls and practices, she walked the length of the wire. She couldn't wait to show Bellany. He was silent for a long time. And then he said, "In the beginning, everyone falls and most give up. But you kept trying. Perhaps you have a talent as well." "Oh, thank you," said Mirette. She got up 2 hours early every day to finish her chores before the sun shone in the courtyard. The rest of the day was for lessons, school planning, and practice. Bellany was a strict teacher. "Never let your eyes stray," he told her one day. Think of only the wire and crossing at the end. When she could cross dozens of times without falling, he taught her the wire walker's salute. Then Mirette learned to run, to lie down, and to turn a somersault on the wire. Wow. I will never ever fall again, said Mirette. Do not boast, do not be proud, Bellany said. He said it so sharply that Mirette lost her balance and had to jump down. One night, an agent from London, England, rented a room. He noticed Bellany on his way to dinner. What a shock to see him here, he said. See who? Asked the mime. Why, the great Bellany. Didn't you know he was in the room at the back of this building? Bellany, the one who crossed Niagara Falls on a 1,000-foot wire in 10 minutes. He's here. On the way back, stopped in the middle to cook an omelet on the stove full of live coals. Then he opened a bottle of champagne and toasted the crowd, the man said. My uncle used to talk about this, said the juggler. Bellany crossed the Alps with baskets tied to his feet, fired a cannon over the bull ring in Barcelona, walked a flaming wire wearing a blindfold in Naples. Wow, the man, he was so amazing. He had nerves of an iceberg, they all said. Mirette heard them. She raced to Bellany's room. Is it true? She cried. You did all those things? Why didn't you tell me? I want to do them too. I want to go with you. I cannot take you, said Bellany. But why not? Said Mirette. Bellany hesitated a long time. Because I am afraid, he said at last. Mirette was astonished. Afraid? She said. But why? Once you have fear on the wire, it never leaves you, Bellany said. But you must make your fear leave you, Mirette insisted. I cannot, said Bellany. I cannot. Mirette returned and ran to the kitchen as tears sprang to her eyes. She had felt such joy on the wire. Now Bellany's fear was like a cloud casting its black shadow on all she had learned from him. Bellany paced his room for hours. It was terrible to disappoint Mirette. By dawn he knew what he had to do. He had to face his fears at last, or he couldn't face Mirette. He knew he had to do it. The question was, could he succeed? That night, when the agent returned to the inn, Bellany was waiting for him. The agent listened to what Bellany's plan was. Oh, no problem, said the agent. I will take care of everything. What luck this will be. Bellany went out to find a length of hemp with a steel core. He borrowed a wrench and worked until daylight, securing the wire. The next evening, Mirette heard all the commotion in the street. Go and see what it is, her mother said. Maybe it will cheer you up. In the square, wow, there was such a noise. The crowd was so thick, she couldn't see hardly anything at first, except a spotlight, which was up in the sky. Return the great Bellany, he was yelling. Could it be? Mirette's heart was so excited. Oh my goodness, she said. Bellany stepped out onto the wire and saluted the crowd. He took a step forward and then he froze. The crowd cheered wildly, but something was wrong. Mirette knew it at once. Something was wrong. For a moment, she was just as frozen as Bellany was. Then she knew what she had to do. She went through the door, ran inside, up the flight of stairs, and out through the skylight to the roof. She stretched her hands to Bellany. He smiled and began to walk towards her. She stepped onto the wire too, and with the most intense pleasure. as she had always imagined it might be. She started to cross the sky. "Bravo, bravo!" roared the crowd. "Yes, everyone, look at the great job they're doing," said the agent. He was so excited, already planning a tour for Bellany and Mirette. As for the teacher, Bellany, and his pupil student, Mirette, they were thinking only of the wire and crossing to the end. The great Mirette and Bellany, wire walkers. What a great story. Mirette practiced really hard to do something, and she finally was able to walk across that wire. That's pretty amazing. You know what, friends? Whether it's reading or learning to count or do math or play sports, keep practicing. You'll always get better. See you next time, my friends.